former transport MMC Kenny Kunene has officially resigned following a scandal involving his presence at the home of alleged criminal mastermind Katiso KT Molefe. This is a man linked to a set of high-profile murders, but of course DJ Somebody and engineer Armand Swart are at the top of the list. While Kunene insists he was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time, the Democratic Alliance in Gauteng says resignation is not enough. The party is now calling for a full forensic investigation in all Johannesburg and JRA contracts and procurement processes. So anything he had oversight over, they want to see it, particularly projects like the Lillian Ngui upgrade. Would we call it an upgrade? I don't know. Project. Let me say project. The city reels from multiple governance crises, and the DA insists that public money and accountability must come first. We're joined now by DA Johannesburg caucus leader Belinda. You'll have to help me with your surname, please.
Good afternoon, Pabi. It's Belinda Kaiser Echozonjoku. Thank you so much.
When you say it, it's so simple, and I will do my best by the end of the interview. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Now, Kenny Kunene has officially resigned, but your party think that that's not enough. What's triggered the demand for a full investigation?
Thank you so much, Pabi, and good afternoon to the listeners. By the way, I had 28 years to practice my surname. Thank you. Just to get back to Kenny Kunene, we've obviously sent a letter to the executive mayor last week with regards to the Kenny Kunene and obviously what we saw happening that was reported, and we requested for him to step down, and if he refused, for the mayor to fire him. And it was because we wanted the integrity of the office of the executive mayor to be protected, because all MMCs serve at the delegation of the executive mayor. We want all contracts that Kenny Kunene, like you rightfully said, had oversight over in his department. We wanted all investigated. Whistleblowers had come to ask us to look at particular contracts. I'm not going to go into the detail of each one of them, but a specific one that is quite been in the public domain for quite some time is the one that involved the Lillian Ngui repairs that had extensions all every time. It's now 2 years. About 215 million rand had already been spent. This is now the second contractor that is working on this project, and we are saying that if a contractor does not perform and the city itself terminates a contract, why had those contractors not been reported to National Treasury for non-performance, and also the public money be recouped? And that had not been done. We don't believe there was any full investigation as to what happened with the first contractor, and they simply just had a settlement of about 3 million rand, and then a new contractor was appointed, and we believe that it's not enough. We also asked for the investigation in MTC, which we had a big problem with previously when it was moved from finance and economic development to transport. We believe that it was done in order to facilitate contractors and projects for the Patriotic Alliance. And we say, based on what the information the whistleblowers have brought to us, we are saying it warrants for investigation into contracts.
You know, last week on the show, Belinda, we interviewed PA spokesperson Steve Modale, and he said he's putting his head on the chopping block to defend Kunene's innocence. He says he believes that Kunene will be vindicated. And I wonder how you respond to that kind of public defense from within his party, now in light of his resignation even.
Look, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
What we had done as the Democratic Alliance, for us, it's a matter of governance. You cannot work on a let's say the end justify the means. You cannot work like that in government because there is the Municipal Finance Management Act, there is the Municipal Systems and the Municipal Structures Act. So when you are dealing with monies and contracts that is not yours and trust of the public, you have to do that within the framework of the law. And we believe that putting your head on the chopping block when you don't know the details is quite dangerous. In fact, Pabi, I must tell you, just before I took this call,
Yes.
we had whistleblowers contacting me that they wanting to speak to us, not to me specifically, because obviously I am very cautious of protecting whistleblowers. So I ensure that the information they have available reach the relevant authorities, even if it's not through me directly. So I would be very cautious to put my head on the chopping block if I was Mr. Mutale for things I do not know about that could have happened.
That's very interesting that whistleblowers are, regardless of the safety issues we know exist in South Africa, will always put their hand up. There'll always be somebody or many people who have seen what they don't want to see, who have heard what they don't want to hear. And coming to you, I actually think is quite a positive thing. Kunene had many oversights over many other major projects. I didn't call it repairs for Lily and Goli Street. I called it a project because, it's just taking so long. And it does seem, and you've explained, there's so many issues. Are there other tenders or suppliers that you believe should be urgently scrutinized?
Definitely, there are others, and these are based on information that whistleblowers have brought to us. We don't, as the DA, decide to just make a lot of noise without having received some information. It's both at MTC and at the JRA, and I'm sure you would agree with me, and so would residents, that the fact that our traffic lights are not working, the fact that the potholes are not fixed, the fact that the reinstatements, things are dug up and not being closed, and we have vandalism of the infrastructure in the city. 80% of Johannesburg bridges are in a bad condition, and these are based on JRA's only report. And then we have a situation where the MMC is, confronted, or shall I say, found at a murder suspect's house in the middle of the day. There are definitely other contracts that, and some of these allude to the fact that the reasons why our roads are in the condition it is in, and also some issues of qualifications of the people that are appointed in some of these departments. And I must tell you, it's not only Kenny Kunene, there are other people also implicated.
I bet you there are. And if Mayor Dada Morero fails to act on your call for a forensic probe, you threatened legal action. So what will happen next if he doesn't start a forensic probe?
Well, what we will do, firstly, our first point of call would always be to ask National Treasury and COCTA to look into specific contracts. And I must tell you, we've had some success with, writing to National Treasury, requesting them to look at, what we have available to look further, because we've seen that law enforcement has started doing work over the past couple of months that we were surprised that it's only because we sent to National Treasury. But we will also approach law enforcement. We will not be scared to open criminal cases against officials and politicians that are implicated. Remember, these are allegations. We give them the information, and it is up to law enforcement then to investigate all of these.
But you've said such an interesting thing. As you have discovered this and made the threat legally, suddenly work is starting to be done. So how much of that is the opposition's job to continuously look in every single nook, cranny, and corner? I know you're all working together as a GNU now, but you know what I mean, in order to call out where inaction, where hypocrisy, where any of these crimes are happening.
Pabi, let me just say that in Johannesburg, we do not have a coalition. We are not part of the government of local unity, and we are gladly so, looking at the chaos that is currently happening in the city of Johannesburg. It is our role to ensure that residents' money are properly spent and residents get services.
Yes.
For us, our priority as the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg specifically is to ensure that as residents as well of the city, we do not lose our property values. We don't lose the rate base that move to other provinces and other cities. We want to retain the jobs that are kept in Johannesburg, because ultimately when people have, if there's growth and there's jobs in Johannesburg, businesses stay, then people get jobs and they're able to pay their rates, their utilities and things like that. So our role is basically to ensure things are done properly, so residents get value for the money that they are getting, that they are paying to the city. Unfortunately, it's not to the extent that we want, and we continuously work, because we will continue to fight for the residents, good governance and the rule of law is not negotiable for us. Things need to be done properly, because ultimately when things are done properly, residents will want to stay in the city. They will want to invest in the city. Businesses will want to create jobs and come and invest in the city. And that's the ultimate aim for us, to ensure that Johannesburg is returned back to the economic hub it should be in Africa.
Do you think this case speaks to a larger pattern of political appointments lacking vetting? And what reforms would you like to see around political oversight of these infrastructure budgets?
You're talking about political appointments and vetting. Those are some of the first issues that whistleblowers have brought to our attention. The qualifications, the vetting, the amendments of reports before it gets to council. I wouldn't say amendment, it's more doctoring reports. So it looks good on paper, but in fact the evidence suggests differently. Those are some of the issues that have been brought to our attention. But what we would like to see is what the Auditor General has also highlighted, that those things be corrected. The reckless spending, the UIFWE, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, that is it's less. And where there are fruitless and wasteful expenditure, that the city recoups it from and holds the managers, the politicians, and all those people accountable for the lack of due diligence within those particular departments. I mean, we've seen court precedents where people are held accountable for not doing what needs to get done. The bigger concern for us is the fact that the city, I've asked the question to the executive mayor about how much of money was spent on litigation. And the city is spending a lot of money on litigation, on cases that are eventually declared unlawful and unconstitutional. And that is what we would like to see change in the city as well.
Absolutely, what a waste, and of course, I think we all want Johannesburg, particularly, to become the city we've always known it as, if not better. So, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's DA Johannesburg Caucus leader Belinda Kaiser Eche Ozo Nyoko. Thank you very much for your time.